receive it with joy. We welcome it. We have a lot of expectation, and we believe to see your goodness in everything that we do. Today we launch a strategic plan and roadmap. You are a God of order, and we see that in creation, and you tell us in your word to do things in orderly way and in an orderly manner. And so today we launch our plan, we put our heads together to talk about it and take it out to implement it. We pray that it will succeed. We're taking a step of faith. We pray that you will provide all that is needed, financial, the people that we need, the goodwill, that everyone will play their part, and everything will work out for the good of our land, our country, Uganda, for the joy of your people, the people of Uganda and beyond, and for the glory of your name. We thank you and honor you now and forevermore. Amen. We can take our seats. Once again, we welcome you to this special day, a very special day for us as Electoral Commission, but particularly a very important day for Uganda when we launch our strategic plan and the roadmap for the 2026 general elections. Our program is short, Right Honorable Prime Minister, and I will not take a lot of time other than to welcome the Secretary Electoral Commission, who is going to do brief welcome remarks and acknowledge the people who are here with us this morning. Thank you very much, and welcome, Mr. Secretary, sir.
Our guest of honor, the Right Honorable Prime Minister, the Lord Chairperson Electoral Commission, members of the Commission, the Honorable Minister, Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, our invited guests, Your Excellencies, the ambassadors, members of Parliament, of agencies of government, leaders of civil society organizations, staff of the Electoral Commission, ladies and gentlemen. My work now is simple. It's to welcome you to this historic event when the Commission unveils the strategic plan and roadmap that will take us to the 2025-2026 general elections. Right Honorable Prime Minister, it has been a culture in the Commission to hold such a function to unveil the roadmap early so that everybody gets to know. Right Honorable Prime Minister, we want to thank you for taking time to come and grace this occasion, and all of you invited guests and dignitaries. We don't take this for granted that you are here. And we know you are not just stakeholders, but you are partners, because you support us in various ways. And indeed, it's important that you are here from the very first day as we launch, so that we see where you buy in terms of supporting the Electoral Commission, making sure that we move towards the path of conducting free, fair, and acceptable elections. So today is an important day in our case, and Right Honorable Prime Minister, as Commission, and indeed, we not only unveil here, but we are good at what we do. And I want to thank the staff of the Commission for doing what you do. Right now, Prime Minister, today you are going to help us to unveil and launch. Some people will say, why all this time? Why early? To us as Electoral Commission, we think we are late. We should have done this long ago. Many times, people will say we are early. When we started the activities, they say, why didn't you tell us earlier? Some of them tended to forget. Even when we roll out the activities of the electoral activities, some political players, they are like, they have been taken unawares. Right, Honorable Prime Minister, we want today to appeal to all stakeholders that after here, please help the Electoral Commission, indeed as stakeholders, to go out there and help us disseminate and bring everybody on board. And also we do welcome the critique of the document we are going to issue and of the process, so that in so doing, we should be able together to work towards free and fair elections. I want to welcome you and wish you a nice day, the day which the Lord has already blessed. Right, Honorable Prime Minister, it has been very hot, knowing that the Electoral Commission has a function. The Lord has already blessed us with a downpour. I want to thank the Lord for that. And indeed, as we say, we plan and the Lord implements. He has started implementing the roadmap to 2026. So I welcome you, Right Honorable Prime Minister. I want to welcome you, members of the Commission, Honorable Ministers, our dignitaries, and all of you, ladies and gentlemen, and members of the media. You're welcome. Please help us disseminate and disseminate widely and correctly. I thank you. Right Honorable Prime Minister, let me take this opportunity to invite the Lord Chair, the Chairperson of the Electoral Commission, to address us and give us direction of the day. You're welcome, sir.
Our chief guest, the Right Honorable Prime Minister of Uganda, the Honorable Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, the Honorable Ministers present, Honorable Members of Parliament, Your Excellencies, the Ambassadors and High Commissioners, other government of Uganda representatives, all heads of institutions, the heads of security agencies present, representatives of political parties, religious leaders, civil society representatives, members of the Commission and staff, members of the press, our distinguished ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Electoral Commission and on my own behalf, I warmly welcome you once again to this important national event where the Commission is launching its strategic plan for 2022-23 to 26-27 and the roadmap for the 25-26 general elections. Let me take this opportunity to thank the guest of honor, the Right Honorable Prime Minister, for having found time to come and preside over this launch. We thank you. I also wish to thank all our distinguished guests for honoring our invitation to come and attend this important event. We do not take your presence for granted, for we believe each one of you has important tasks in your respective institutions. We thank you for honoring our invitation and be with us. I also want to thank the members of my commission, the management team, the entire EC fraternity for the commitment you have shown while planning and carrying out commission assignments, which are characteristically very demanding and at times stressful. I further take this opportunity to thank the people of Uganda for supporting the Commission in delivering the 2020-2021 general elections, which, as we all know, were organized under extraordinary circumstances owing to the COVID-19 pandemic. These elections were unique because the risks associated with the pandemic required us to conduct electoral activities under reduced and limited time frames, unmodified guidelines, or even restricted activities. Furthermore, there was an increase in cost so as to provide for COVID-19 safety measures at all electoral activity areas, public mobilization, sensitization, and enforcement, as well as safety materials at all electoral centers. The Commission appreciates government for having provided the funds that enabled us to deliver the elections within the constitutional timelines. As you are aware, the Electoral Commission is established under Article 60 of the 1995 Constitution of the Republic of Uganda. Under Article 61 of the said Constitution, the Commission is mandated to, among others, ensure that regular, free, and fair elections and referenda are held. In so doing, the Commission is required to conduct the various activities within specified timelines as stipulated in the Constitution and other electoral laws. For instance, under Article 61, Clause 2, the Commission must conduct general elections for presidential, parliamentary, and local government council elections within the first 30 days of the last 122 days before the expiration of the term of the President, Parliament, or local government councils, as the case may be. The Commission must, therefore, set particular timelines for purposes of proper planning, management, and organization of the said elections. It is therefore in this spirit that the Commission is launching the strategic plan and roadmap, and we are here to witness this. Since our establishment by the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, the Commission has organized and conducted 6 general elections. That is 1996, 2001, 2006, 2011, 2016, and 2021, as well as 2 referenda on political systems, that is in 2000 and 2005, and several parliamentary local government councils, elections, and by-elections. The strategic plan we are launching today is a result of extensive research and stakeholder consultations. Following the conclusion of the 2020-21 general elections, the Commission conducted post-evaluation workshops across the country with various key stakeholders in the electoral processes. The stakeholders gave us their honest assessments of how the electoral process and the conduct of the 2020-21 general elections were done. The Commission further conducted its own self-assessment by engaging our own staff to give their views and opinions on the conduct of the last general elections and the subsequent by-elections. The recommendations from the various election observer reports were keenly studied, as well as the recommendations from court session decisions, and all this was done to improve on our election management. Some of the strengths identified during these evaluations include the following: government commitment to fund the electoral process. We have never doubted government's commitment in its quest to fund our electoral processes, and we thank the government of Uganda in that regard. Secondly, an enabling legal framework, an experienced and knowledgeable workforce, a good working relationship between the members of the Commission and staff. I want to applaud the members of the Commission for having maintained a cohesive team spirit. And I think you have seen in some areas where people tend to go in different directions. We also have forward planning through project approach and roadmap for the electoral activities, and availability and use of technology. The Commission also identified the following challenges: the delayed enactment or amendment of electoral laws. We shall talk about this at length as we launch the plan. Continuous creation of administrative units, which brings about an increase in costs. Inadequate training of temporary election officials as a result of limited funds. Inadequate voter education because of insufficient funds. These evaluations and self-assessments were in line with the practice of the Commission, and it is from this background that the Commission has been able to introduce new innovations and improvements in election management. To us, every election provides lessons for the next one. Therefore, the objective of this strategic plan and roadmap is to provide clear communication of priority areas in the election cycle with the aim of improving operational efficiency and stakeholder awareness and participation by seeking to build on the positive reforms and innovations introduced in the last general elections. The plan and roadmap also aim at enhancing organizational and staff capacity planning. Organizing and conducting presidential, parliamentary, and local government councils elections is a huge and expensive exercise, particularly when it is funded in 1 year. The strategic plan is, therefore, designed to enable phased funding of key election activities, which will reduce funding pressure on the government and facilitate the Commission to conduct the elections in a smooth manner. The detailed objectives of this strategic plan are the following: enhance inclusive citizen participation in the electoral processes, strengthen stakeholder collaboration and engagement in the electoral process, deliver regular, free and fair elections and referenda, improve timely, gender and equity responsive and accurate information sharing, public trust and confidence in the electoral process, and strengthen the institutional capacity of the Electoral Commission. As you'll be hearing shortly from our technical team, under each of the above strategic objectives, the Commission has formulated strategic goals or activities, budget estimates, and attached timeframes. The Commission has also extracted a detailed roadmap to the 2025-26 general elections from the above goals. The roadmap will enable the various stakeholders in the electoral process to achieve the following. In our view, 1, improvement in the planning for participation and implementation of electoral activities. Secondly, improvement in coordination of electoral activities. Thirdly, timely implementation of scheduled electoral activities. And transparency in the implementation of electoral programs and activities. The roadmap is clearly a reminder to all stakeholders in the electoral process to start planning to ensure a smooth democratic process. To achieve the above, the Commission appeals to the government, particularly the Cabinet and the legislature, to ensure timely amendment and or enactment of the relevant electoral laws. This is critical because any amendment in the electoral laws will have to take into consideration the electoral roadmap, the procurement time frames in accordance with the PPDA requirements, and the impact on the overall elections planning and budget. Similarly, the Commission appeals to the government to consider and approve the creation of new administrative units in a timely manner so that the electoral program and budget are not destabilized. When this is not done, the impact on our preparations, particularly on the demarcation of electoral areas, the organization of polling stations, and voter education is enormous. A soft copy of this strategic plan and the 2026 general elections roadmap has been made available on our website www.ec.or.ug. Right Honorable Prime Minister, you will note that the projected cost for the 2025-26 general elections has significantly gone up compared to the 2020-21 general elections. I must say that for every general election, cost has to inevitably go up unless we have a reduction in the population and we have few voters as a result. The factors for the significant increase and the cost drivers are indicated and include the projected increase in the voter population and hence a number of polling stations, an increase in candidates nominated for elections, an increase in the number of administrative units, as well as continuous improvements or reforms. Honorable participants, as we launch the strategic plan and roadmap, we also recognize and LC2, as well as women councils and committees elections. We want to commend the government for having come up to clarify on these elections and for having undertaken to make sure that within the next 6 months, these elections will be held. The Commission therefore urges government to provide the required funds so that the above elections are held before the key general elections activities start, to avoid stampeding the roadmap and the ground. The Commission wishes to caution political parties and organizations that the release of this strategic plan and roadmap is not a license to throw the country into a frenzy of campaign-related activities for aspiring individuals, political parties, and organizations. While consultations are provided for in the law, campaigns must follow a program approved and regulated by the Commission. For now, please let us allow the people of Uganda to engage in productive ventures like a Myoga parish development model and tapping the opportunities available from the oil and gas sector. Let's put politics aside for now. I therefore urge political parties and organizations to use the plan and roadmap to make adequate preparations for successful participation in the elections. I further wish to urge the political parties to pursue peaceful coexistence before, during, and after the electoral process. The citizens of Uganda in general also have a role to play in ensuring the successful implementation of this plan and roadmap. I therefore appeal to all the people of Uganda to work with the Electoral Commission and ensure a smooth implementation of the roadmap and the preservation of the peace and stability we are currently enjoying as a country. Last but not least, I want to thank the government of Uganda, which has always provided the necessary funding to enable the Electoral Commission fulfill its constitutional mandate. I also wish, in the same spirit, to thank those development partners who have always been able to partner with the government by extending electoral support to the Commission. My appeal, however, is that government continues to provide adequate funding in a timely manner to enable the Commission undertake its constitutional obligations. I reiterate our desire for Parliament to enact laws or amendments to electoral laws in a time so as not to jeopardize or destabilize the roadmap. I once again thank you all for responding to our invitation to the launch of this important national event and look forward to constructive engagements hereafter. I thank you for your attention, for God and my country.
Thank you, Lord Chair, for that keynote address, which sets us going. And at this moment, the Secretary will make a presentation on the roadmap and the strategic plan. You're welcome, Mr. Secretary.
Right Honourable Prime Minister and all our delegates, before I make the presentation, allow me to introduce to you the team that has worked to make sure we have this presentation today. The first person is the chairperson of the commission. Just see Byabakama Mugenyi Simon, who is seated on your right. Deputy Chairperson, Hajat Aisha Lubega. Commissioner Peter Emorut. Commissioner Justin Ahabe Mugabi. Commissioner Stephen Itasovia. Commissioner Natalie Etumaru. And Commissioner Haj Sebagala Chigozi. And on this side, I have the directors and heads of departments. The members of management, please stand up for recognition. I have Right Honourable Prime Minister, we are a big institution. I have representatives of staff from the field, the regional election officers, please. I also have other senior staff from the commission who are here. Not everybody here, but at least to represent the others and carry the message, your message from here to them. The other senior staff, please. Thank you. Right Honorable Prime Minister, that's the team that made sure we are able to come here and present. My presentation will have about 6 key areas to talk about. We have a background. We shall talk about the process which the chairperson has already talked about, how we came to formulate the strategic plan. We shall present the estimated cost of the roadmap. We shall also, as a way of reminder, tell our guests the categories of elections, and then we shall look at the key roadmap activities and their dates, because these are very, very critical, Right Honourable Prime Minister. Our guests, the chairman has talked about the key or the guiding law, which is the Constitution, Articles 60, 61, and 62. These ones create and guide the Commission, and we try to follow the instructions and directives therein. The process of formulating the strategic plan, the chairperson has highlighted. We did the internal touching within ourselves and critique how we performed in the previous general elections. Where we did well, we looked at how do we do better. Where we think we were challenged, we did criticize ourselves and see how do we improve in those areas. So these have been highlighted. So we did undertake, as already highlighted, both internal among ourselves, and then we consulted the other stakeholders who are not members of the Commission. And this helped us to really arrive at what we are going to present. We even had meetings out of Kampala. Remember, we had a meeting in Arua, Moroto, Soroti, Jinja, Fort Portal, generally in all the regions, so that we get to hear from the stakeholders from all those areas. We also carried out a survey and reached people online, especially in this .com era, to tell us their thinking about the Electoral Commission. We read the reports of the observers and picked out what they are recommending, their criticism and observations. We also looked at the last strategic plan and were able to inform what are the strengths and weaknesses and what are the areas we need to reform. Right Honourable Prime Minister, 5 areas emerged out of these consultations, and I think Chairperson has already talked about this. I don't have to dwell there. So that formed, in a way, the process of formulating the strategic plan. In summary, the internal consultations, the consultations with our stakeholders in the electoral process. Then we went into a retreat to critically look at all the issues and were able to come out with a draft, which later we have been polishing, and today we are in a position to present it to you, Right Honourable Prime Minister, and to all our invited guests. Right Honourable Prime Minister, last time it was a Tuesday, today is a Wednesday. We were here in this same hall. It was 11th December 2018 when the strategic plan and roadmap to the 2021 general elections was launched. Today, we are again here and doing that. As I said earlier, at that time, many people said, why all this early? And to us, we think we need to give people information early enough, especially projecting out these costs, which the Lord Chair has said have gone up, so that we give government and all our development partners who would like to come in and support us time to understand and prepare. The plan is being unveiled today to implement the 2025-2026 general elections. This plan was developed and approved in compliance with the program-based approach, and this is the new approach as guided by government, and our strategic plan is compliant. Right Honorable Prime Minister, to confirm that it's compliant, the National Planning Authority, the organization responsible for ensuring, has approved and issued us a certificate. In carrying out this strategic plan and roadmap, Right Honorable Prime Minister and our guests, the Commission has a vision of being a model institution and center of excellence in election management. And indeed, many countries are coming to benchmark with us. That gives us light that we are on the way to becoming indeed a model institution. And we desire as our mission to organize, conduct, and supervise regular, free, and fair, and transparent elections and referenda when it comes. And we try within our work and during our work to be accountable to what we do. We try to foster service orientation, and that's the reason we invite you even as we start as stakeholders. We try to be impartial and exhibit professionalism when we are doing our work. And we are quite innovative and would like to be as innovative every time we conduct activities so that we are able to improve. Right Honorable Prime Minister, the strategic plan we are presenting has key result areas. One of them is the regular, free, fair, and transparent elections. We would like to enhance inclusiveness, citizen participation, and engagement, and we are starting this with the launch today. We would like to see a strengthened stakeholder collaboration and participation. It's our desire to have timely, gender equity, responsiveness, and accurate information to which we should be able to share. And that's why the Lord Chair said what we are sharing today is going to be uploaded on our website so that even our stakeholders who have not had the opportunity to be here can follow us and see what we are saying. We would like to have a strengthened institutional capacity of the Commission so that we are able to deliver. Honorable Prime Minister, the roadmap, as the Chairman has said, the costs have gone up, and the financial year 2023-24, Right Honorable Prime Minister, is the first year in our calendar of the general elections. And in this year, we expect to receive and spend 195,959,000,000 on the electoral activities towards the general elections that will be in this financial year. Right Honorable Prime Minister, next financial year 2024-25, as the activities intensify, we project to spend 569,688,000,000. And in the final year of the roadmap, that's financial year 2025-26, this is the year during which all the polling activities will take place, we expect to spend 622,175,000,000. Right Honorable Prime Minister, the total budget expected for the roadmap, it will cost the government 1,367,821,000,000 to execute the roadmap. The major cost drivers, I'm not going to repeat, the chairs already mentioned them. I will go to the roadmap of the 2026 general elections. We are going to look at the objectives of the roadmap. The first one is to provide a basis for better planning, implementation, and benchmarking, so that we're also able to assess our performance as we go on. As earlier said, in the key result areas, we desire to have an improved stakeholder participation in the electoral process. It doesn't mean they have not been participating, Right Honourable Prime Minister, they have been participating, but we would like to see improved levels, if possible, to have where we have all our participants, our stakeholders participating. We would like to improve on the electoral planning and administration. We are good enough, but we still think there is room to improve. We want to avoid the last-minute rush in implementation, and that's the reason we are launching way ahead and indicating the dates when the various activities are going to be implemented. We don't want a rush as Electoral Commission. We also don't expect our stakeholders to go into a rush. The reason we are doing it early. We would like to have timely delivery of electoral results, freely and transparently. And would like to, our work as Electoral Commission, Right Honourable Prime Minister, to contribute to the general good governance and security of the country. We were cognizant of the fact that in conducting our activities, there are laws, and the electoral cycle, the activities of elections follow a cycle. When we say cycle, it means before you accomplish one activity, you cannot start another. And if you can't do one, it's difficult to proceed to another. So the success of one activity affects the success of another. We're also going to make sure, even as we procure, we are alive to the PPDA laws and requirements. We are alive to the laws and the directions of the Constitution and all the enabling laws. And in doing this, we were alive to the electoral cycle, the laws, PPDA requirements, the strategic plan, guided in coming up with our roadmap, returning officers and observer reports. Right Honourable Prime Minister, returning officers, they are our staff, but they make reports in law. And we try to look at them when we are planning. What are the challenges they find there, so that we are able to. And all other election reports, the comments, critics from the cases we have had in court, and the complaints we receive, whether the complaints are genuine or not, we try to look at them as we plan, so that we make sure we are able to take care of that. Right, Honourable Prime Minister, as I said, the activities of elections are like a cycle, and the activities flow in that order. We have what we call pre-election period. That's the period before the activities of elections start. Then we have the election period. Then the post-election period. And each of these has unique activities which are expected to be carried out, some of which we are going to look at in detail, but that's the electoral cycle as it appears in brief. The critical law, Right Honourable Prime Minister, is Article 61(2). The chairperson has talked about it, but I cannot present the roadmap without highlighting it. And it commands that the Commission shall conduct, or elections will be held, both presidential, general parliament, and local government councils elections within the first 30 days of the last 122 days of the expiry of the term of office of government. Right Honourable Prime Minister, as we talk, the current government expires on 12th May 2026. Therefore, the last 122 days and the first third of them, we must conduct the elections. And that's why you find during that time, all polling activities are piled up in the first 30 days, because there has to be time in case some people are not satisfied to raise their complaints to court, and there is time before the next government is ushered in. Right Honourable Prime Minister, the categories of elections for which we have planned include 1, presidential, 2, members of parliament, and among members of parliament we have constituency members of parliament, we have district stroke city women representatives to parliament, we have representatives of older persons, representatives of persons with disabilities, representatives of the youth, the workers, and UPDF. We also have the district, state, local government councils at that level of the district. And at this level, we have the district chairpersons, stroke Lord Mayor. We have the councillors, and these include also representatives of the special interest groups, as highlighted above, plus professional bodies for the case of Kampala Capital City Authority. We have the municipality stroke city division, local government council level, the chairpersons and the councillors. We have the sub-county stroke town council, stroke municipal division, local government council levels, with the chairpersons, councillors, and including councillors that represent special interest groups. We have part of the elections, members of councils and committees of special interest groups. The special interest groups represented in these governments have their special committees. And Right Honourable Prime Minister, these run from village to national level. We also have members of the women council and committees, which also run from village to national level, and then administrative units, which is local council 1 and 2. Right Honourable Prime Minister, all these have the number of positions for which people must compete in terms of leadership. At presidential, Uganda being one country, we have one vacancy because the electoral area at that level is 1 as Uganda. When it comes to parliamentary, we're expecting to have over 500 positions for members of parliament. District chairpersons, that means 1 for each office of the district chairperson. Right Honourable Prime Minister, it's estimated that for the 2026 general elections, we are likely to have 1,908,000 elective positions in total. And that's the reason we started these activities early, as you will see later. Because some people normally say, why early? These nominations are too early. But if you look at these positions, 1,900,000, you will appreciate why we must start activities early. Right Honourable Prime Minister, the key activities of the roadmap include demarcation of constituencies, demarcation of electoral areas for purposes of local governments, the organization of polling stations, the general update of the voters register, display of the national voters register. Then we come to the nomination of candidates. Once the register is done, we engage in campaigns, then the polling, and then the declaration and publication of results. Right Honourable Prime Minister, because of Article 61(2), the polling period is expected to fall between Monday 12th January 2026 and 10th February 2026. This is the first 30 days of the last 122 days. And this is a command of Article 61(2) of the Constitution. And also complying with Article 1 sometime. And this must be ready before 12th January 2026. So we need adequate time for us to do that. Otherwise we may do shabby work with the ballot papers mixed up. Right Honourable Prime Minister, for us to produce ballot papers, remember we do a manual nomination exercise. So we have to computerize by picking details of the candidates from the manual forms into our computers, and from the manual forms into our computers and we create a format for sample ballot papers. Right Honourable Prime Minister, for us to do this and carry out assurance, quality assurance, and make sure each candidate nominated is captured and captured correctly, we need about 40 days from the date of nomination, especially for local governments. After that, we hand over the samples to the factories that produce ballot papers. These factories, from experience, they need about 30 days for them to print and deliver ballot papers and declaration of those forms to our warehouse. Once they are delivered, Right Honourable Prime Minister, we have to pack. And our experience, pack for all of these categories, we need about a month so that we are able to pack the ballot papers in each and for each polling station and elective office. And it's our desire, Right Honourable Prime Minister, you may remember, one time we delayed to deliver into 8 polling stations in Kampala, and it was like the commission had failed. Arising from that, and indeed we did achieve this last general elections, it's our desire that 5 days to the polling, the materials are with the respective returning officers. Meaning that we need to start dispatching from the warehouse in Kampala to the respective districts by 5th January 2026, so that by 12th we are ready to conduct the polls. This means that if we have to dispatch by 5th January, then the following must take place by the dates indicated. 1, that we should have completed the packing by 4th January in order for it to dispatch on 5th. That the production and delivery of ballot papers and declaration of those forms to the EC warehouse should take place between 4th November 2025 and 3rd December, so that we are able to have completed the packing by 4th January. Now, for that to happen, it means we must hand over latest samples of ballot papers to the factories printing ballot papers by 2nd November 2025. And we can only succeed to do that if we have computerized from the manual nomination forms into the sample ballot papers by 30th October 2025. Hence, the dates that have been approved for purposes of nomination, as we shall see. So those dates are informed by the work the Commission has to do after nomination. Because we have had where the political players think we do that early to punish them with the campaign. It's not our intention, because once we nominate them, they are our candidates. Right Honourable Prime Minister, therefore, the nominations, because of the above, should be conducted as follows. 1, given the magnitude of the variations for production, as we have said, 1,900,000 so positions, we should have nominations completed by the 2nd week of September for purposes of local government councils, because there are very, very many. For purposes of parliamentary, we should have this done by the 2nd week of September, so that campaigns also can come, but mainly because we need to produce the ballot papers. Right Prime Minister, the Commission is also required to announce in time nomination days and time. And we normally do comply, and that's why we have to lay out a detailed program in time. The Commission also has to enable to comply with Section 4A of the Parliamentary Elections Act. Right Honourable Prime Minister, it demands that public servants who would like to participate are given enough time to take a decision whether to resign or not. And for us to nominate Right Honourable Prime Minister, a register must be ready, meaning we must have done the display and cleaning of the register, and we expect that the display of the register should end and we have an up-to-date national voters register by the end of May, so that we are able to. Right now, Prime Minister, we also have to, why we need a complete register and polling stations, we have to publicize the polling stations, and this is a requirement of the law. So the display of the national voters register shall therefore take place, right now, Prime Minister, between 18th April and 8th May. And this is in line with Section 25(1) of the Electoral Commission Act. Thereafter, we shall display the judicial parish tribunal recommendations. Right now, Prime Minister, the judiciary appoints a tribunal at parish level to vet the recommendations made on the register. And these ones are also displayed for purposes of natural justice, just in case someone has been recommended for deletion wrongly. We expect that this should complete by 9th May 2025. Therefore, processing of display returns and production of an up-to-date national voters register should end by May. So as we enter June 2025, we should have a clean register. Now, for us to be able to do that, right now, Prime Minister, it's demanding that we should have general update of the national voters register done in January 2025 and done in line with sections 19(7) and 19(8)(a) of the Electoral Commission Act. I know, right now, Prime Minister, some people will say January is too early when the polling is January 2026 and you are doing update in January 2025. But because of those requirements, as we have highlighted, there is no way we take update close to polling. Otherwise, we shall reach polling and we don't have a clean voters register. Right now, Prime Minister, I did indicate the various registers we are going to update. One, we have the National Voters Register. This one is used for purposes of presidential, general parliament, and local government councils elections. We have the voters registers for elections of special interest groups to parliament. We have registers for election of special interest groups to local government councils and Kampala capital city. We have registers for election of members of councils and committees of special interest groups within their committees. We have registers for election of members of women councils and committees. Then we have registers for election of LC1 and LC2 councils. Right now, Prime Minister, before we do that, everybody needs to know the elective areas and the constituencies. And complying with Article 161 of the Constitution, we carry out demarcation of electoral areas for purposes of local governments. And this is determined by the number of voters and administrative units, the number of residents, the population quota, as spelled out in the legal instruments. Demarcation of electoral areas is also guided by Section 10 of the Local Government Act, complying with the various interest groups that represent the special interest groups into the councils. And we think for us to have an update of the National Voters Register in time, we should complete demarcation of electoral areas by July 2024. Before we do, alongside the demarcation of electoral areas, right on our Prime Minister, we do the organization of polling stations. And this is because the population grows and you find one polling station needs to be divided. Also, new units are created in terms of villages, parishes, and sub-counties, and we have to give them polling stations. So that activity also has to be done before we go into updating the National Voters Register. One of the reasons we do this is to reduce distance walked by voters, avoid overcrowding. If there are stations that were overcrowded in the last elections, we do address that. We cater for newly created parishes, and we need to do this by end of July 2024. Right Honourable Prime Minister, the Chairman has already raised the issue of enactments and amendment of enabling laws. It's our prayer that if they are to be done, they should be done beyond June 2024. And alongside creation of new administrative units. They should not go, if at all they have to be done, but our prayer would be if we can maintain the current number of administrative units so that our budgets are not destabilized, as the Lord Chair put it. Right Honourable Prime Minister, I take the honor to present to you the summary of key milestones to the 2025-2026 general elections roadmap. As it is, the key activity of demarcation of constituencies and electoral areas and the reorganization of polling stations, as mentioned, is fixed and approved to start on a Thursday, 4th July 2024, and end on Saturday, 13th July 2024. Thereafter, we shall be ready to go in for general update, which is critical, and I think all our invited guests need to note this, that we need and we expect to update our voters register starting on Friday, 3rd January 2025, and ending on Friday, 24th January 2025. And that will go alongside compiling the other various registers, Right Honourable Prime Minister, as I've highlighted. The ones for youth, for persons with disabilities, older persons, workers, and this is in line with Section 18(1) of the Electoral Commission Act. Meaning the last date for compilation of register or update is 24th January 2024. Right Honourable Prime Minister, after that we shall process and take this register back to the community during display of the National Voters Register, which will also together display the other registers for the special interest groups. Right Honourable Prime Minister, this will be from Friday, 18th April 2025 to Thursday, 8th May 2025. And this is legally provided by Section 24(1) and Section 25(1) of the Electoral Commission Act. Once the display and cleaning of the register is done, Right Honourable Prime Minister, we have the first nomination. And I want this to be noted. Many times people look at the nomination of local governments, parliament, and president. But we have the first nomination at level, and they feed into the local governments and into parliament. This, we have another key milestone, is the nomination of candidates for local government councils, which will include the special interest groups, representing these groups to the local governments. Right Honourable Prime Minister, this is expected to take place from Wednesday, 3rd September 2025 to Friday, 12th September 2025. The nomination of candidates for parliamentary, in line with Section 488A and all the others as provided for in the Parliamentary Elections Act. And these nominations will be held from Tuesday, 16th September 2025 to Wednesday, 17th September 2025 for 2 days. Then we have nomination of candidates for presidential in line with the provisions of the Presidential Elections Act. Right Honourable Prime Minister, we expect this nomination to take place on Thursday, 2nd October 2025 and Friday, 3rd October 2025. And as mentioned earlier, the last key milestone, Right Honourable Prime Minister, is the polling period. For now, it's a polling period as defined by Article 61(2), which is between Monday, 12th January 2026 and Monday, 9th February 2026. This is the critical, but as we go on, we shall comply with the law and announce the exact dates for the polling for the various categories. Right Honorable Prime Minister, as the Commission lays for your launch the roadmap, would like to take the same breath and propose to the political parties to move with us. Because when we are going in for nomination, the political parties should have already identified their candidates. So we would like to propose some dates for political parties as well. I've lost my date. No. But we are going to share a proposed roadmap for political parties in line with the Commission roadmap so that they are able to conduct their activities. We have seen cases where nomination comes under the Electoral Commission and political parties are still struggling with unresolved issues. So we are going to help and share that out so that they are able to comply and have candidates in time, and also have their registers in time so that they are able to participate in time with the Commission. Right Honorable Prime Minister, the roadmap and strategic plan we present should be able to help the Electoral Commission and help the stakeholders in terms of being more informed of the activities and when they will come, and should be able to help us to compile a credible and accessible voters register. It should also be able to help us to function efficiently and effectively, and it should be able to help us to procure in time, because we know when the activities will come. So we should be able to do our procurements in time so that we're able to, and having known the activities as they come out in time, we should be able to act professionally and also work in a favorable environment and contribute to protecting our environment and overall being able to deliver free, fair, and transparent elections. That one, Prime Minister, I want to thank you and thank everybody for listening to me, for God and my country. Right Honorable Prime Minister, let's take this honor to recognize some of the dignitaries who are here, starting with our line minister, who is seated next to you, the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs. We have the Honorable Minister of State for Finance, Honorable Gorobi is around. We have the Honorable Minister of State for Disability, she's with us. We have Your Excellencies, the ambassadors and high commissioners. They are present, Right Honorable Prime Minister. And these ones include Your Excellencies and high commissioners from Egypt, China, Turkey, Algeria, the US, Belgium, Italy, Ethiopia, Syria, Tanzania, the European Union, Pakistan, Lebanon, and the Netherlands. I don't know if there is any we have not captured. We have heads of the security organs, the Deputy IGP, From police, we have also the direct operations from the police. We have the Director General ISO. Yes. We have representatives from the Uganda prisons. We have representatives from the UPDF. We have leaders of agencies of government, the chairperson, NIRA, chairperson, Equal Opportunities Commission. Yes. We have leaders from the Uganda Human Rights Commission. Right, Honorable Prime, so we have others we are going to capture and bring to your attention. But at this point, I would like to take this honor to invite the Minister of Justice and to invite the Prime Minister.
Our guest of honor, the Right Honorable Prime Minister, and my colleagues, the ministers, my Lord, the Chairperson of the Electoral Commission and the commissioners, and your secretary and all the senior staff, all the dignitaries, partners, dear friends. I have good news. I think the visit that the Prime Minister made to the Pope has softened her heart. She came rushing saying she's going to abandon us after launching the strategic plan, but without any effort on my part, she changed her mind and said she's going to stay here up to the end. Because I told her we need somebody here who can commit government at the highest possible level. And therefore, your presence, Right Honorable Prime Minister, will make a big difference. The presentation by the chairperson of the Electoral Commission and also the presentation by the Secretary of the Electoral Commission has put on the table very serious issues which require very serious answers. I head the Ministry of Justice. Ours is a service ministry, but you are the chief coordinator of government, and you also lead the government in Parliament. Therefore, sitting here up to the end means a lot for us. I want to thank you, and I think the Holy Spirit had something to do with it. We welcome you back from Rome, and we believe that you come with blessings. I have only come here to invite you, but let me just state that the issues raised, particularly the need to enact laws that enable an election, the proposed constitutional review process, these are very important activities that cannot wait. We therefore count on you to lead us to ensure that Cabinet schedules these decisions. Ugandans are waiting. These are the things that are keeping Ugandans awake. 2 is leaving the Electoral Commission in uncertain waters when we create so many other units, whether they are districts or other electoral areas by whatever name called. The chairperson of the Electoral Commission is a judge, and he's a gentleman, and he's polite. But if it were me, who is not known for diplomacy, I would say there's need for birth control as far as the creation of all these units are concerned. We need some contraception. The rate at which we are manufacturing some of these units distorts the work of the Electoral Commission. And then thirdly, the Electoral Commission has been lamenting about civic education. Of course, they call it voter education, but voters are people above the age of 18. Before people reach the age of 18, they must know the responsibilities of citizens. So I would want us to focus on civic education. The citizens are the nursery beds for leaders. We pick leaders from the citizenry. So when citizens know their responsibilities and when they also know their rights, chances are that elections will be much better. I thought these are issues that require a serious response. Now we have volunteers. NGOs, Right Honorable, are filling the gap, and some of them, they have their own view of what civic education is. But this is our country. We should take charge of planting the proper seeds in the minds of our citizens. We cannot allow people who may have their own agenda to come and start planting seeds in the minds of our citizens just because they have money. This is not about money. This is about what Uganda will look like in 100 years. It depends on the seeds that we plant today. Lastly, I want to thank the chairperson and the commissioners of the Electoral Commission for their focus and being future-oriented. You are referees, and I think you have demonstrated that you are largely independent because everybody is complaining. I've heard the president, who is the chairman of NRM, is also complaining, saying that he is being rigged in some places. His candidates are losing, like recently in the by-election in Oyam. We who lead opposition parties, by the way, I lead a political party, so I'm also a team captain in the tournament. So since everybody is complaining, I think largely you can be said to be independent. Because if one side was celebrating and the other side is the one complaining, it would be a disaster. I welcome the Honorable Babalanda, Minister for the Presidency. I think by the time goes on, we shall have the numbers here to be able to have a critical mass in cabinet. When the Prime Minister tables anything, we should be able to defend it. I call upon the Electoral Commission to focus on the bigger picture. We are a republic, which means we are a representative government, and the only way to choose representatives is through elections until we find another way of choosing representatives. For the time being, however imperfect elections are, that is still the only method that we have. I don't know of any other method. Others have tried other methods, like the Greeks tried something which is like a lottery. I don't think it was very good. So let us focus on the bigger picture. Elections are a means to an end. They are not an end in themselves. Many times when government takes decisions or when political leaders take decisions, and I have seen political party leaders in that corner there, Right Honorable Prime Minister, they are here because they are the players. When you blow the whistle, They are the ones who will storm the arena with whatever capacity they have. And it is up to you to guide them. But the big picture is that we need a united, democratic, prosperous, and a peaceful country. And some of us, Right Honorable Prime Minister, as you know, have taken decisions to move together with you and the government that we serve so that we keep this country together. Ultimately, there is no winner when there is chaos. Elections are just one part of nation building. There are other things we need to do. We need a culture of civil debate, a culture of deliberation. We need a culture of disagreeing without being disagreeable. These are some of the things that some of us are advocating. We need to reconcile. All parts of this country have bled. Everybody in East Uganda has a complaint against a government. So we need to be able to handle these issues. That way, elections will then become meaningful when we do some of these things. So many of us are under attack for some of the decisions that we have made. But we know that eventually they will be understood. There was once a man who went with his wife on a wedding anniversary, and while there, the ship sank, and they were floating on little rafts heading to the rescue boat. But there was only one seat on the rescue boat. So the man jumped into that one remaining seat, abandoning his wife. So according to the teller of the story, the wife shouted at the man. So if I ask you, what do you think the wife shouted? I'm sure all of you are thinking of the most obscene things. So this was in a classroom. So when the teacher asked the question, many students put up their hands and said, she must have said, I curse you, go to hell, I never knew who you were, finally your true character has surfaced because of this crisis, things like that. But there was one student who never put his hand up, and the teacher noticed him and asked him, why are you not participating? Then the boy said, I think the man's wife said, take care of our children. And the teacher said, have you heard this story before? He said, no. But that's what my mother said when she was on her deathbed, because she had a life-threatening illness which could not be cured. So the teacher said, your answer is correct. Indeed, by the time they went for the wedding anniversary, the wife had been found to have stage 4 cancer. She was terminally ill. And the man was the only one who knew it. So he went back and took care of the children, brought them up. But there was one of his children, a daughter, who was not amused by what she thought the man did, neglecting their mother to sink in the cold, dark sea. So she kept on harassing the father. The father did not engage her, just looked after them. When the man died, they found his diary, and in his diary he had written, and he said, you know, my dear wife, I had to leave you there because I needed to come back and be there for our children. So he made that choice. Now, those who do not understand that, assuming he had left that seat for his wife and he himself had died, definitely this wife would have come back and died of cancer. And then the children would have no parent at all. So the moral of this story is that sometimes you need to go deeper to understand the things that we do as individuals, as nations, as political parties, and even as leaders. So Uganda is in a very difficult junction right now. We have the youth bulge, young people who are aware only of their rights, no responsibility. So how do you take the tough decisions that will ensure that the country stays together? And the neighborhood in which Uganda is equally tough. We have active volcanoes all around us. Uganda is an anchor state, and it is not called an anchor state for nothing. It is an anchor state because it is capable of projecting power in the region in order to keep our country and our region safe. I thought these are contexts that we should understand. I don't think we are here to discuss a mechanical process of putting a piece of paper in a box. We must know why we are doing it. And otherwise, if it is a mechanical thing, then we may as well just let a machine do those things for us. We have a robot as the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, then we have other robots as commissioners. So if we understand why we do what we do, then we will be more energized in doing it. With those many words, Right Honorable Prime Minister, it's my honor now to invite you to come and address us. And thank you again for agreeing to sit here. We shall be here doing what the Baganda call okubugiriza.
The Honorable Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, the Honorable Norbert Mao, your closing statement has made my day. Strategic thinkers making a decision is not easy. The man saw a sinking boat and he jumped on the only seat that he saw in NRM. Woo! And now the children are being saved. The Honorable Minister for Presidency, the Honorable Ministers, Honorable Rugorobi Amos, and the Honorable Asamo Helen, the Honorable Members of Parliament, Your Excellencies, the Ambassadors and High Commissioners, our brother Justice Simon Byabakama, the Chairperson of the Electoral Commission, the Commissioners and staff of the Electoral Commission, representatives of political parties. Now that I'm told you are here, when I was told you were here, I said, let me sit and hear what they want to say. Representatives of our security agencies, the civil society organizations, representatives of government, officials, the media, ladies and gentlemen. I bring you greetings from His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. As you are aware, he had gone to Russia and Serbia, where he has been promoting our country. And I want to thank him for that. It is my great pleasure to join you today on this auspicious occasion for the launch of the Electoral Commission Strategic Plan 2022-23 up to 2026-27, and the roadmap for the 2025-2026 general election. I wish to express my profound gratitude for your invitation to me as a person and the office to be the chief guest during this important occasion when the Electoral Commission is launching its strategic plan and roadmap. And please join me to congratulate the Electoral Commission for coming up with this elaborate strategic plan that will help the Commission improve the administration of elections. As you have always known, the Electoral Commission of Uganda. Like you have all seen that they have come up with a very good roadmap. I've also taken trouble. They sent me the book earlier, and I have pursued the plan and the roadmap. To me, I am satisfied that the strategy was given detailed attention and clearly outlines approaches the Commission will use in delivering on its constitutional mandate. I'm greatly impressed by the quality of ideas put in the strategic plan. They were carefully considered, and of course they reflect our current social, political, and economic realities. Honorable Ministers present and all of you ladies and gentlemen, the process of developing the strategic plan and roadmap, I'm told, was participatory, like you have seen, and involved consultations with stakeholders in the electoral processes, including special interest groups who are key stakeholders. This is in line with the provision of Uganda Third National Development Plan objective of strengthening citizen participation and engagement in the democratic processes. I also note with gratitude that the strategic plan is aligned to key policy planning instruments, the international and regional development frameworks, the legal protocols, the Uganda Vision 2040, the East African Community Vision 2050, the Africa's Agenda 2063, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the Africa Charter on Democracy and Good Governance, the Africa Union Declarations, and the Sustainable Development Goals. Ladies and gentlemen, this indeed is a clear demonstration that the Commission is responsive to the dynamic changing needs of our society. And for that I want to thank you. This strategic plan highlights the performance of the various Commission strategic plan, including the successful completion of the 2020-2021 general elections. The plan incorporates a comprehensive work plan and the roadmap to the 2025-2026 general elections, which provides detailed plan and strategies for the conduct of the next general elections. It is my hope that during the implementation of this plan, the Commission will be able to seize any available opportunities to realize its vision of being a model institution and center of excellence in election management here in the country, the region, and the globe. I urge the Commission to give specific consideration to the youth, women, persons with disabilities, and other stakeholders like the older persons. I am therefore pleased that in launching this strategic plan and roadmap, the Commission has put in place measures geared towards adapting it to the context in which it operates. The contents of the strategic plan, which includes the 3-year roadmap activities for the 2025-2026 general elections, are themselves promising. All of you have seen this. For the strategic plan, the Commission will focus on the following strategic themes, and that is the stakeholders' participation, institutional effectiveness, and trusted and democratic elections. In implementing the strategic plan, I want to assure members of the Commission and staff and all of you stakeholders at large of the NRM's government commitment to support the democratic processes through the delivery of regular elections. More importantly, my office, the Office of the Prime Minister, will fast track the amendment, enactment of the necessary laws and logistical requirements which will be used in the conduct of the next elections. The Office of the Prime Minister will ensure that the enactment and amendment of the relevant enabling laws, which my brother was talking about, is done before the end of the financial year 2023-2024. As part of ensuring that the Commission's planning, operations and budget are not adversely affected by the creation of administrative units, my office will coordinate and ensure adherence to the Commission's deadlines, which are in line with the relevant electoral laws. I have also observed that the Commission has essentially accompanied this strategic plan with a well-enumerated, workable and clear budget, which sets out a breakdown of the total proposed expenditure per activity and category. This kind of transparency is the way to go for this country. As the leader of government business, ladies and gentlemen, I undertake to ensure that the required funds will be allocated to the Commission and released adequately and in a timely manner for the smooth running of the Commission and all its activities. Ladies and gentlemen, it remains our duty as government to allocate adequate funds for the implementation of this plan, like I've already told you. Otherwise, if we don't do it, it will fail, and we don't want to frustrate our gains. You know the NRM government. These are some of our gains which we usually tell the whole globe. In this regard, my office will follow up with Parliament and the relevant organs of government to ensure that the adequate resources and facilities are provided for the Commission to enable it effectively perform its functions. As noted above, the strategic plan and roadmap being launched today is based on the 5 key pillars, and each pillar has clearly spelled out strategies whose full implementation will strengthen citizen participation and engagement in democratic processes and facilitate the transformation of the country from a peasant to a modern and prosperous society within a period of 30 years, and achieve the overall national development goal of increased household incomes and improved quality of life of Ugandans by the year 2040, as articulated in the Uganda Vision 2040. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, I urge our fellow political players that this roadmap does not mean you go for campaigns. No. And I also note with satisfaction that the strategic plan provides for an effective monitoring and evaluation system which will guide in gauging the effectiveness and performance of the Commission and the impact of the implementation of the plan and the roadmap for the 2025-2026 general elections. Lastly, I want to thank the chairperson and members of the Commission, management and all the staff who have participated in the development of this strategic plan and all other stakeholders who took part in the processes of developing this plan and the roadmap in one way or another. I implore all key stakeholders to observe the timelines set out in the plan and the roadmap to enable the Commission to effectively and efficiently deliver its mandate. In line with the spirit of leaving no one behind, I wish to request the leadership and management of the Commission to continue engaging with all stakeholders as you implement this plan. I also wish to inform the Commission that the government of Uganda is ready to work with you so that this plan is implemented. The government of Uganda once again reiterates its commitment in promoting a strong and a credible electoral democracy. We will therefore work together to achieve the common objective of a fair and credible electoral process characterized by an informed and supportive electorate and mass participation. In order to achieve this, I call upon all political parties, I mean all the political players and organizations, to organize themselves in accordance with this roadmap and take the necessary preparatory activities so that they lawfully and profitably participate in all participatory activities and make sure that they also participate in this scheduled election period. With these few remarks, ladies and gentlemen, where is the roadmap? You come and we launch. Come and touch. Now we're going to With these few remarks, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure now to declare the strategic plan of 2022-2023, 2026-2027, and the roadmap for the 2025-2026 general elections officially launched for God and my country. I thank you so much.
Right Honorable Prime Minister, we thank you for those remarks and for unveiling our strategic plan and roadmap. Before we go to the next item, Honorable Minister, I ask for your permission to recognize some dignitaries we had not. We have a representative of the Principal Judge, Justice Musa Sekana. Yes. We have the PS Minister of Internal Affairs, the PS Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs. We have the Vice Chairperson of the National Consultative Forum, Madame Jolie. We also have members of the National Consultative Forum. Members of the National Consultative Forum. Yes. We have representatives of the UN, UNDP, UN. Yes. We have representative of the Interreligious Council of Uganda. have leaders of civil society, a number of civil societies. We have representation from Law Reform Commission. Law Reform Commission, yes. We have a representative from the local government authorities. Local government authorities. We have National Planning Authority. National Planning Authority, they even certified our plan, Right Honourable Prime Minister. National Council of Higher Education. Right Honourable Prime Minister, we work with them, and they have to clear some candidates. We have National Curriculum Development Center. We have representation from the East African Legislative Assembly. Wow. Yes. I think Right Honourable Prime Minister, the others had been introduced. Though once more to recognize the Minister for Presidency had been introduced to you, but she's here with us. You're welcome, Honourable Minister. Right Honourable Prime Minister, I ask for your permission to go into the next item, to open up, just in case someone has picked up any point of clarification, advice, even commitment. we welcome it. So now that it's launched, it's unveiled, it's open, I'd like members to participate in a discussion. You can see so many hands. We have the minister here first.
Yeah, thank you.
Please, who are taking notes, please make sure you pick all these comments.
Yeah, Right Honourable Prime Minister, the Lord Chair, the commissioners, and the rest of the participants like me. My name is Asamo Helen, Minister State for Disability in the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development. One, I want to notify the Electoral Commission that we don't have one Minister of Disability and Elderly. Your invitation was inviting one of us, so usually we discuss the two of us. We are two ministers. We have a minister for elderly, we have a minister for disability. So the president, in his wisdom, divided the two. So those who always invite, please know who you are inviting. So we agreed as principle that I come and the elder remained behind. So next time maybe the elder will come, I will not be here. So just know that these are two interest groups. But my point of standing up, I've looked at the roadmap, I've liked everything, but I want to say access to information is very critical and is a right. I want to guide the Electoral Commission this time. Let us have sign language interpreters. Whether you can employ them so that they become permanent as your staff for the time being of this map, so that they can have quality of what you want than picking every time now and then. I would recommend that let's have sign language interpreters. In cabinet, this is already agreed, and there's nothing to debate about that right. So I think we should bring that one. And then the other one, the discussion which we're also having and ongoing. I think the Minister of Justice said, we also said there's rigging, whatever. There's an idea of coming with either electronic voter or identification. These are two things. But again, in Uganda, we do the use of fingers.
UBC
Again, think about those interest groups.
inspiring Uganda.
Recognize them. And then I was wondering.
Up next on UBC, brought to you by... Up next on UBC, brought to you by
My Airtel app, the smart way. Download today on the App Store or the Google Play Store.
You ask one. You know I wanna love you. You see them girl beauty them. You know you're my one and only. I wanna love you till I can't. No, yeah. My girl, she a Cinderella dance till I shoot for love. She not care for money even if you're big and tough. She do it for the love. She a liquor shot till she tipsy. That the dancing, yeah. Nah, you already know. When I see you, it's going down for sure. No pick the egg girl, this ain't for sure. Nobody got to know.
You dey give me so. Yeah, you are murderer when you wiggle, I'm slow. Everybody knows say yeah, you pretty and cool. You dey light up the party, be like rhythm and blues. Yeah, oh my God, yeah, you got me in my feelings. Number one, yeah, you be top feeling. Anytime I dey with you, I feel like I'm a winner. For your mother, baby girl, I be sinner. You dey tell me, banging like a stereo. Never ever see a kind type, but they tell you. Everybody feeling you. Everybody feeling you. My body they ginger anytime I see you. I'm in love, I wanna Maria. My shemile say Jo Maria. If you got a love, I make it better than Nina. No spend my career, na bega begina.
Oh na baby, you know I wanna love you daily. You know you're my one and only. I wanna love you till I can no more. Oh na baby, you know I wanna love you daily. You know you're my one and only. I wanna love you till I can't no more.
Don't let them pull you them basic. Don't be scared to go crazy. Don't be scared to get comfortable. Ndaki dogo mambo mengi. Oh no. Keep me up when the sun goes down. Your money tight and your pump on fire. Kwani na bionanze biene taganana. When you wind it up, you make a bad man drop. Fine face and your energy, your cherry on top. I'm ready to hop on the vibe and rock. Wow, no copa. Unaizungusha kama chopa. Unaitingisha proper. But night nurse, my original top king. Showstoppers. Girl, I wanna love you daily. You a queen, so I call you Nana. Nobody give you stories. No more stress, no go bring no drama. My label make I know what you want. You give me vibes on the high, make I flow. No other girl make I feel how you do. Oh, you cast a spell on me. Oh, nah, baby. What's this you when it drive me crazy? You know, so when I see you, baby, what's going down, girl, what's going down?
Oh na baby, you know I wanna love you daily. You know you're my one and only. I wanna love you till I can no more. Oh na baby, you know I wanna love you daily. You know you're my one and only. I wanna love you till I can't no more.
You ask one.
You're supposed to look at me, Jesus Christ. There's who's
24 frames. Don't be scared to get comfortable.
Lens. Bro, do your whatever. Cut. Bro, you went to 2 frames. Oh, my bad. Get out of here, man. That's you. But Jibambe Sasa. He didn't know we were rolling. Oh, sorry. Go back. Let's go on. Yeah, we're rolling.
Yes, okay. If you lie me, kuchayira usiri kubasa me. Mazima. If you love me, kuwa mukwano December, January. Mazima. The way you influence me, muli mpulirango fuse part of me. You mean a lot to me. Osana Grammy Academy. Kubanga influencer. The way you move like an influencer. Influencer. Body nyashibya influencer. Influencer. You influence me, influencer. Influencer. Bobu wami bogo singa kwencha. The way you look me. Eyentunula you wanna nyamu me. Mazima. But if you body touch me, nkuba kabonero moyo patiri. Mazima. Zinafuka loniri. Kube chitufu sinonya company. Mazima. Sedia na chickeni. Mpomerwa bibala watermeloni. Mazima. Wanga influencer. The way you move like an influencer. Influencer. Body nyashibya influencer. Influencer. You influence me, influencer. Influencer. Obu wami bogo singa kwencha. Bano nabagamba lumo balinda bagwe ku stage. Balowoza ngamba ya boda. Kati banda bankubo muziki gwe ku stage. Baheta nebesoza yenze rapo linambemu ekyo tekikyuka nga sati ya balamu nekumye nateekako kondomo reno game gwe yutyo yinobeeramu fantasy gikube wune Maria gikube wune gwe bichi wogizine wune oyo heta agizine gane bro kubanga influencer. The way you move like an influencer. Influencer. Body nyashibya influencer. Influencer. You influence me, influencer. Influencer. Obu wami bogo singa kwencha. Mazima. Uli mulunja sana kashi. Mazima. Ulamu bunyuma dansi. Mazima. Ubawanu mpaka France. Mazima. Uli ampagira mwana bless. Mazima.
It's the Legend Production.
Buli luchanga kwambala teri yakusingako mu bulungi oli wambala bwenkusala nze n'ennyuma n'ebitaala n'ebyesika tuli wajja oli waddala mu bulungi oli wambala ndeka kwambala ekisuse buli andabako yeewuunye obanga ndi waddala ate nga ndi byaddala ndeka kwambala ekisuse buli andabako yeewuunye obanga ndi waddala ate nga ndi byaddala guno mutima nkuwadde omutalina ndwadde guno mukwano nkuwadde oli mulungi ondaludde muyonjo teweepimwamu omutunza kusinga yani abalijja baliddako teribaayo kusingako wangoza nze n'ennyuma omutima nze n'eŋŋuma ebirungi ebyo byoyiwa tolika kuvuganya ndeka kwambala ekisuse buli andabako yeewuunye obanga ndi waddala ate nga ndi byaddala ndeka kwambala ekisuse buli andabako yeewuunye obanga ndi waddala ate nga ndi byaddala guno mutima nkuwadde omutalina ndwadde guno mukwano nkuwadde oli mulungi ondaludde guno mutima nkuwadde omutalina ndwadde guno mukwano nkuwadde oli mulungi ondaludde
kanje. Alien skin, as you know, nyaga.
Fiti only fitting here. More fitting and feeling is no feeling. Oh, mupano wisa meeting. Bulicho kugamba, wasinga yokubamba. Onyumira nechikumba, oli muzimu kusanga. Matara, onjagira tara. Matara, ewange wetara. Matara, onjagira tara. Matara, ewange wetara.
Not that thing. Tungama mutumolo is a not that day. I take a thing, feeling no yet that day. Hey, Ramba boat. Ejute wachewa no nyaza, tirinang. Everyone evya kaweza, tirinang. Nakoto bezo kotwalo, kwanjola na yeng de kotwala kamocha. Nako wabanu, teba manje mukwanu, teba dina bya kola jase bagalantalo. Nengera bide, nengera binu, netuko kwebuza, owa tule kuchi wanu, fanu.
Matara, onjagira tara. Matara, ewange wetara. Matara, onjagira tara. Matara, ewange wetara. Natuka tengenda, batuzanga nyomo kasonda. Naningirira kwetebei, paso glory poto ya soda. Chiribubi, ewange chiribubi. Eno ndibulala, njochanga sitova kasikiri. Wama. Wana gwe wabichusa. Wama. Ebikalube ebigonda. Wama.
You're special. Vibes down what you King Kong Andre. You know how to do it.
Chikumi kuchinacho. She give me 10 out of 10. Sifa yo bono mnakialo. 10 out of 10. Chikumi kuchinacho. She give me 10 out of 10. Sifa yo bono mnakialo. 10 over 10. Wana mukanga sada ya bangde. Anenda bikayanga mata. Zene mukwa sono batandre. 10 over 10. Kala we wine on the kangana weze. Te wale mufana na she do it again and I drink up the wine, yeah. Oh my God, give me that thing. Cause I got my hands on the wall. Na bimala left chena iga. Give me left in bed. 10 out of 10. Chikumi kuchinacho. She give me 10 out of 10. Sifa yo bono mnakialo. 10 out of 10. Chikumi kuchinacho. She give me 10 out of 10. Sifa yo bono mnakialo.
Yeah, I wanna thank my bear. Muruchu there. Asante sana buchimochi kola my bear. I can't complain. I'm addicted to you like cocaine. Only my blood vein. Nenda kola ucheso bora nkwela mse pain. Exi woje wisamu twale Schengen. Share my own them. Cause it will never end in tears like they said. Cause girl, you're special. Kasusu kokali nacho. Ompa good vibes nga kwacho. Love wajimpa chikume kuchinacho.
10 out of 10. Chikumi kuchinacho. She give me 10 out of 10. Sifa yo bono mnakialo. 10 out of 10. Chikumi kuchinacho. She give me 10 out of 10. Sifa yo bono mnakialo. Yada no monachalo, make me light up candle. Sembera kidogo hapa kando, my sweet like mango. Baby, don't go. Well, I'm here, it was really nice. She give me 10 out of 10. Ordinary sazona. She give me 10, I jump out of 10. She says,
the girl in that pond. You know me tell the girl fi wine and fi 100. The same girl give me 10. She give it to Bomba fi from Jamaica again.
Hey, now that again. She come me kuchinacho. She give me 10 out of 10. Si fire one na kyalo. Ah,
10 out of 10. She come me kuchinacho. She give me 10 out of 10. Si fire one na kyalo. The same girl give me 10. She give it to Bomba fi from Jamaica again.
Oh my God, Bomba make my beat.
But you know what the key you want to do. Love what they will song or get you what it in your reader. Yeah, now you gonna be ready in this single. What the f*** you young go to cool it down. Now you young gonna be a dollar on the single. It don't so is that you ready to mingle. Now you young gonna be a dollar on the single. It don't so is that you ready to mingle. I'm singing so cheap. Gigi Jude money. Just the way, just think of the protocol. Just the way, just think. Baby, we just the way, just think of the warm. Just the way, just think. Yeah, we know we just the way, just think of the protocol. Just the way, just think. Baby, we just the way, just think of the warm. Just the way, just think. Baby, we just juggle just think and bullet now we be just. Baby, we just juggle just to them now we be just. Mentwala gina joginda agela the city now was you with your number. Bolida cause it's a kalinga kanaba. Amata you're right now with your number. Juggle you're pulling me cool like a gun. Juggle on top come out of a cool madam. Picture me so not you make madam. Whoa, you go to them bail who make madam. Just the way just think of the protocol. Just the way just think. Baby, we just the way just think of the warm. Just the way just think. Yeah, we know we just the way just think of the protocol. Just the way just think. Baby, we just the way just think of the warm. Just the way just think. Yeah, buy your wound your body there. Beat to your baby yankuba. Kasimo kanga kobo kuba balala si balondula kubanzini yagori da bula mubonga omane kuba kone kupatizanga kusanga mupati kuwa kuchenga uyagale bidake byancha kuba ansinga sachi chichi juta manji just the way just think of the protocol just the way just think. Baby, we just the way just think of the warm. Just the way just think. Yeah, we know we just the way just think of the protocol. Just the way just think. Baby, we just the way just think of the warm. Just the way just think.
Ela ya mpolomezo weta bakuwe kumasi bakuwe kusota kota mwenya baby wango bota oli kumutima kwange kokota wafuna kuma nechitino sota
Omukwano gumukambwela bawe gungoya Lavo jimpa desichajula Oja kunzisa omukwano mpola mpola Sirina bongo musaite kuchakola
Ono jagenda jengenda Kijaketina waboda Alina omukwano chengamba Teyanja yisanganda Jagenda jengenda Kijaketina waboda Teyanja yisanganda Alina omukwano chengamba Yo badogo Sela buje puliranga dogo Yabaleka wabapoko Chechibazimbizange gogo Only never blonkola baby baby Nonkubisa kasola sweetie sweetie Omukwano kunzita baby baby Only move your sogera sweetie Abalala balaba Nayetewa matiza Bagaba mu maziga Tebalina mitima Kwe mulujo wesonga Abalalo bakize Wabule birwadde byesonga Nemiramira buli beke Sembeleno baby ngogonda Wabula wakutemele Otambula basajja bekona Bikula babitomele Only nabyo byonkola baby baby Nonkubisa kasola sweetie Omukwano kunzita baby baby Only move your sogera Oh na 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 Only nabyo byonkola baby Magala nebye simanyi oh baby Nonkubisa kasola sweetie Abagayi balinge yanze ngenze Omukwano kunzita baby Magala nebye simanyi oh baby Only move your sogera Abagayi balinge yanze ngenze Ono jagenda jengenda Kijaketina waboda
Yo, I'm in the Kalilan. Akama Ivan Baddest. Brian Beats. Olega irisanyo mwana mama kati kumaze. Nobudde wange buno bwe maze nawe kale bunumayo. Mukwano gwawo gungasula ntudde mpaka obudde kye. Megena kabanga nga ndoosa gwe nako ganuma. Love tenkubya jeke. Kati nakwagala ntakutadde ku bunkenke. Nange bintamye ebbayi. Leka neeyagaleko ngendeko ne mu dansi. Genda genda oba genda genda. Okwagala nate tufuuka lubuto na byenda. Genda genda oba genda genda. Nakola chikwatanisuka na chitanda. Ngera mu ofisi nendwayo mu ofisi. But you never notice it inuma. Nayimiriza basi kumbe nalinya roketi. Kati newe nalingenda naita woda. Gwesamira mu bango linga jansi katalaba kamiliyoni. Oyumba na maji negatika leka nenkuta nogenda. Love tenkubya jeke. Kati nakwagala ntakutadde ku bunkenke. Nange bintamye ebbayi. Leka neeyagaleko ngendeko ne mu dansi. Genda genda oba genda genda. Okwagala nate tufuuka lubuto na byenda. Genda genda oba genda genda. Nakola chikwatanisuka na chitanda. Abantu tukoga mu nkukutu, mu nkukutu, mu nkukutu. Enunga tukaba mu nkukutu, mu nkukutu, mu nkukutu. Abamu bafiira mu nkukutu, mu kyabika nkukutu nkukutu laavu tensuze tonze abantu bampitako nga bambuza shida gani bayi bintamye bayi leka neyagaleko ngendeko ne mu disco genda okwagala nate tufuuka lubuto na byenda genda obo genda nakola kikpatalisuuka na kitanda genda obo genda okwagala nate tufuuka lubuto na byenda abamu genda obo genda nakola kikpatalisuuka na kitanda
Sasoma ayona ne bana mvuma zinakutata tagala amina wakwawe makwanoma I'm in control say ya kwagalira malayo walachini ufichinyenya kubikundu amina lavu yo ya meka na kutuke biwujo kampulira nnumya ewaabwe kitawenze yanfuma tanti ndi muyaye mbera sasoma ayona ne bwana nfuma zinakutata tagala amina wakwawe akona noma I'm in control say ya kwagalira malayo walachini ufichinyenya nyo amina olisanga abantu tinga zibidde ku bikundu amina lavu yo ya meka na kutuka ebiwujo Kale nali kaluba na wantoka yana kwa mazoku
sanga ntasa joitira tobefasanga tobanga nembuto kwe wakubyanga nga Mungu kwe kukumpela kwe kusanga kati kukambe chikwa kuganga chafanga jogere chimukwano chebakakugamba mutima ng'obunyabanya n'okuchunga osanulo nkubomenda
baby. When I look at you I calm down. Just send me a piece of you will make me stand firm. Onena visa no Luganda. Mapenzi yako tamtam.
Andabula wamukwana limukwete kundabula andabula andabula wamukwana limeliche kundabula andabula
abakoyi besimu ndabula
ndabula
namwabo message ndabula
ndabula
abatunda chakula ndabula
ndabula
sitisatisa naye ndabula
ndabula. With no doubt you the best I know. Sagala ndabula sagala kupatako ekigambo love batibula mugwe ebye birungi ne babitega bakikola bakuyita noyitaba baby tochikola bakuyiya noyiteka neda neda.
When I look at you I calm down. Just send me a piece of you will make me stand firm. Onena visa no Luganda. Mapenzi yako tamtam. Kinafanya njagala temune nyakuba nina malala. Kinafanya njagala akawala inze nina njagala.
mutima kwanga nafunyo kugonda kale nali kaluba niwanjogera nagwe wamaze okuwunza wamaze okukula kati ndabula
andabula wamukwana limukwete kundabula andabula andabula wamukwana limeliche kundabula andabula
abakoyi besimu ndabula
ndabula
namwabo message ndabula
ndabula
abatunda chakula ndabula
ndabula
sitisatisa naye ndabula andabula wamukwana limukwatako ndabula andabula
temuza sabagamba. Hello, Lodi Eddie, hello.
Brian Beats
Odi, hello. Yeah, sure. Ninyo katakisi za boda zibadde teziwera mu waleti omutima gusibe libiti kutuka komanga ozadde sekendi munange tonyiga bwembanuddewo kutuuka tonyiga kusaba bambi tonyiga gyempita olumuka jamukakwata njagala omuliruba kyempulira kyowulireyo kuba lavu gye nnina nnyingi ebimbanga jjovu munange omwagalwe nzija nguleeta bya ddala nawe eyo gukwate mu ngalo nzija nguleeta bya ddala nawe eyo gunyweze mu ngalo nzija nguleeta bya ddala nawe eyo gukwate mu ngalo nzija nguleeta bya ddala nawe eyo gunyweze mu ngalo.
Linda ngerinnya lyokusaba toko olimenya omutima nzija nakwetta lavo kyesuuba osuba nange wesuuba bwe binyuma nterekere kyekulo tukiryeyo ng'emambya esase tugende mu katiro enju ye nanfuna embale
Baby,
nzija omukwano tugulye tugwesiige tugwewunye oliba vumbe liwunye baneyibo oba basenguka basenguke
nzija nguleeta bya ddala nawe eyo gukwate mu ngalo nzija nguleeta bya ddala nawe eyo gunyweze mu ngalo nzija nguleeta bya ddala nawe eyo gukwate mu ngalo nzija nguleeta bya ddala nawe eyo gunyweze mu ngalo. Eno lampa enyuma nga kachumbali ewoma nga kanyanya ku dodo enewango yakanga musubawa
pulira ng'onsika waya pulira nga suna gita baby singa melody nange njikubeera enayi nzija omukwano tugulye tugwesiige tugwewunye oliba vumbe liwunye baneyibo oba basenguka
njagala
basenguke
omuliruba kyempulira kyowulireyo
nzija nguleta byadala nawe yokunyweze mungamu
Zekunjagala kwenjagala zekumbita kwenjagala kumisinga kwenjagala jagala omukwano gwaddaladala ogwaddaladala jagala ebyaddaladala ebyaddaladala jagala omukwano gwaddaladala ogwaddaladala jagala ebyaddaladala ebyaddaladala simanyi obaddala olina omukwano gwaddala bamulina ebyaddala uli omukwafu ebyaddala ndaba okweddala zembula okukwesala ase ddala 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 ase ddala 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 nze saagala onkaddiye nze saagala ompanvuye njagala ompangule ontwale okanule njagala omukwano gwaddaladala ogwaddaladala njagala ebyaddaladala ebyaddaladala njagala omukwano gwaddaladala ogwaddaladala njagala ebyaddaladala ebyaddaladala tofuula ddala toteeka mazzi mu waya kusaba tokyusa kala cause my love is fire. Your love is all I want. It's all I want. Kanikote kuombamba. Your love is all I want. It's all I want. Ochikolotia yenga mfa. Wotalimba mfa. Jagala omukwano gwaddaladala. Ogwaddaladala. Jagala ebyaddaladala. Ebyaddaladala. Jagala omukwano gwaddaladala. Ogwaddaladala. Jagala ebyaddaladala. Ebyaddaladala. Ase dala 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 ase dala 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 nze saagala onkaddiye nze saagala ompanvuye njagala ompangule ontwale okanule your love is all I want it's all I want kanikote kuombamba your love is all I want it's all I want ochikolotia yenga mfa wotalimba
opima mbovera jagala onyongere nera nera uno muliro oli fire brigade kenkulabe katika nterere lavu yonga sikowa sweet nechaleta wedding day every day is a wedding day wedding day every day is a wedding day so listen baby yongera yongezako yongezako leta leta bone we mogere binji kukwe kwenasibira ane we bantega magwa kukwe kwenasibira wandarula otunula wote nentabuka nonzini sanze bamsakata yongeza lafu tontabula wandagala wandarula otunula wote nentabuka nonzini sanze bamsakata yongeza lafu tontabula yongera yongezako yongeza magogogoti mengi sana, usiwapa watoto tochi. Oh, tunula alingandoze, unawakawaka kuzidi jua. Ngoberera alingandoze, tasakasaka unachopenda we. Nayo kwambia usizani kama ninatania, wamebakia mkono wa macho waone wewe. Tunula nyongera, yongezako, yongeza, nyongera, yongezako, leta, leta, bone webogere binji, kukwe kwena sibira, ane webantega mapa, kukwe kwena sibira. Nyongera, yongezako, yongeza, nyongera, yongezako, leta, leta, bone webogere binji, kukwe kwena sibira, ane webantega mapa, kukwe kwena sibira. Chris Evans. It's a fresh mayor, Chris Jones again with the love.
One blazing, made it.
Una kantoloze wenze nyukira biseranga tono byanavunga etwerize mulira mu masola bigonna wegamyuse okwangala balala zenga cyane mabanti mbera nerimbye kati nyanisene ku katandalo mera eno mu kiwalo omukwano mungi nga bijanjalo kulinze gwesigwa kyalo kati nyanisene ku katandalo mera eno mu kiwalo omukwano mungi nga bijanjalo kulinze gwesigwa kyalo jukira wansuubiza wansuubiza jukira wansuubiza wansuubiza jukira wansuubiza wansuubiza jukira wansuubiza wansuubiza kwekisumunze ekyabula ewandeka omutima n'ennyuba omutima waguleka wantengula baby nalumwa n'entagula nagusena kamotoka I can drive you crazy olujinso oludukula ekintomanyo milady nakusomedera nga nzitoka kinkwatira omukwano bimenya nenyisasanya nebuno obufuka nsuubire nti mukwano tonnume yagala tukole love scene obwa Serena ne Justin tubeere ngeyo ku bichi naye ate nkulaba ondagola emmini yagala tukole love scene obwa Serena ne Justin tubeere ngeyo ku bichi naye nkulaba ondagola emmini jukira wansuubiza wansuubiza jukira wansuubiza wansuubiza jukira wansuubiza wansuubiza jukira wansuubiza wansuubiza kwekisumuze ekyabula ewandeka omutima n'ennyuba omutima waguleka wantengula baby nalumwa n'entagula funa kantoloze bwenzijukira biseera nga tono byanavunga etwerize jukira wansuubiza wansuubiza jukira wansuubiza wansuubiza jukira wansuubiza wansuubiza jukira wansuubiza wansuubiza.
Black Market Records.
Young boy property. Baby.